What if you could triple your output in a single day? And no, not with some weird Silicon Valley trend or by giving up sleep, but with a science-backed system that anyone can actually follow. Just yesterday, I was completely burnt out. I was staring at a mountain of work, the kind that gives you that low-grade anxiety from the moment you wake up. I felt like I was working constantly but getting absolutely nothing done. My focus was shot. So, I decided to become a human guinea pig. I'd heard whispers in the biohacking community about a protocol that could deliver incredible results, built on 3 pillars: jump-starting your brain in the morning, sustaining focus all day, and then optimizing recovery at night. For 24 hours, I committed to it. The promise was simple: follow the steps and unlock a new level of focus and energy. This is the unfiltered story of how I completely transformed my efficiency, and how you can, too. Stay tuned, because I'm going to share the exact routine, the supplements I used, and the mindset shifts that absolutely skyrocketed my output. My experiment started the moment my alarm went off. The old me would have hit snooze, scrolled through my phone, and stumbled into the day already feeling behind. But this new plan had other ideas. First step: get outside for 10 minutes of morning sunlight. According to neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, this is one of the most powerful things you can do for your body's internal clock. Getting bright, natural light in your eyes soon after waking helps trigger a healthy release of cortisol. Now, cortisol gets a bad rap as the stress hormone, but a controlled spike in the morning is exactly what you want. It's like a wake-up signal for your entire body that promotes alertness and focus. It felt a little weird at first, just standing on my porch, but within minutes, I genuinely felt more awake than I usually do after my first coffee. While I was outside, I focused on hydration. I'm not talking about a sip of water, but a full liter with a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon for electrolytes. Even mild dehydration can absolutely crush your cognitive function. This wasn't about a jolt of caffeine, it was about giving my brain the basic things it needs to run at its best: light and water. Next up was the part one was dreading: a cold shower. The theory is that the shock of cold water stimulates your nervous system and increases hormones like norepinephrine, which fires you up and makes you feel alert. The first 30 seconds were brutal, I won't lie. But after I stepped out, the feeling was incredible. It wasn't just a physical wake-up call, it was a mental one. A clear signal to my brain that it was time to perform. The final piece of the morning puzzle was breath work. I used a simple box breathing technique: inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. Studies show that this kind of controlled breathing can help activate our rest and digest state, which calms you down and creates the mental space needed for concentration. After 5 minutes, that frantic energy from the cold shower had turned into a calm, locked-in focus. My mind felt clear, quiet, and ready. It was time for my first block of deep work. This is where the second pillar came in: nootropics, which are substances that can help improve cognitive function. My stack was simple and well-researched. First up was the classic combo of caffeine and l-theanine. We all know caffeine boosts alertness, but it can also bring on jitters and anxiety. L-theanine, an amino acid found in green tea, promotes relaxation without making you drowsy. When you combine them, you get the focus of caffeine without the edgy side effects. Studies have shown this pairing can improve attention and reduce distractions. I also took 2 adaptogens. The first was Rhodiola rosea, an herb known for fighting mental fatigue, especially under stress. It's thought to work by influencing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which are key for focus and mood. The second was lion's mane mushroom. Research suggests lion's mane has compounds that might stimulate the growth of brain cells and improve memory. A 2023 study even found it could improve performance speed and reduce subjective stress in young adults. Armed with this cognitive toolkit, I sat down to work. I also used a technique called time blocking, based on our natural ultradian rhythms. Our brains tend to operate in cycles of about 90 to 120 minutes of high-frequency activity, followed by a period of lower activity. So, instead of trying to power through for hours, I set up a 90-minute, laser-focused work session, followed by a 20-minute break. To structure that 90-minute block, I used the Pomodoro technique, breaking work into 25-minute sprints separated by 5-minute breaks. During each 25-minute sprint, I turned off all notifications and worked on one single thing. The combination was potent. The 90-minute block felt manageable, and the Pomodoro sprints created a sense of urgency that helped keep me from procrastinating. If you're finding these biohacking tips useful and you want to see more science-backed experiments, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Optimize Lab. It really helps the channel and lets me know you want more content just like this. By the end of my first 90-minute work block, I'd already accomplished more than I normally would in an entire morning. That usual urge to check my phone or mindlessly browse another tab was just gone. My mind felt tidy. The real test came after lunch, that dreaded afternoon slump where my productivity usually goes to die. But this time, I stuck to the protocol. I did another 90-minute deep work session, and the focus was still there. I wasn't fighting to stay awake. I was genuinely engaged. The Nootropics seemed to provide a sustained, clean energy, not that spiky, anxious buzz from a third cup of coffee. So, what about the tripled output? Here's what happened. On an average day, my to-do list is a battlefield. I might get through 5 or 6 big tasks, with a bunch more getting pushed to the next day. On this day, I cleared my entire 15-item list. This included finishing a report I'd been putting off for a week, outlining 3 new projects, and clearing an inbox that had over 200 emails. It wasn't just about the number of tasks, it was the quality of the work. I had achieved in one day what would have honestly taken me 3. The final pillar of this system is maybe the most important. Sleep. You can't have high output without high-quality recovery. The sleep protocol was just as specific as the morning routine. 2 hours before bed, all screens went off. The blue light from our devices tricks our brains into thinking it's still daytime, which messes with the release of melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. Studies show this can seriously disrupt your sleep quality. Instead of scrolling, I dimmed the lights and read an actual physical book. Then, about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, I took a magnesium glycinate supplement. Magnesium helps regulate neurotransmitters that promote calm, which can reduce stress and quiet a racing mind. That night, I didn't just fall asleep. It felt like my body was shutting down for some deep, restorative maintenance. I woke up the next morning before my alarm, feeling clearer and more refreshed than I had in months. So, how can you try this? Here's a simple, 3-tiered approach. Just start with the morning routine. Get 10 minutes of sunlight, hydrate with electrolytes, and try 5 minutes of breath work. This alone will make a noticeable difference. Add the work structure to the morning routine. Try using 90-minute work blocks with 20-minute breaks. Use the Pomodoro technique inside those blocks to stay focused. Also, start the sleep routine by cutting out blue light before bed. This is the full protocol. Combine the morning routine, the structured deep work, and the full sleep optimization. If you're at this level, you can research and consider adding the nootropic stack: caffeine with l-theanine, Rhodiola rosea, and lion's mane. But always, and I mean always, talk to a healthcare professional before starting any new supplements. This 24-hour experiment was more than just a productivity hack. It was a revelation. It proved to me that we have so much more control over our focus and energy than we think. I learned that productivity isn't about brute force or working longer hours. It's about working with your biology. It's about giving your brain the right signals with light, fueling it with targeted nutrients, structuring your work around its natural rhythms, and then letting it fully recover. I genuinely tripled my output, but more importantly, I felt less stressed and more in control. The best part is, this isn't some crazy, unobtainable system. It's a series of small, science-backed steps that anyone can take. Start with one thing from the beginner level and see how it feels. You might be surprised at the transformation. But here's the surprising part. The #1 secret to sustaining this long-term is something I discovered in the week that followed. I'll be covering that in my next video on my channel, Optimize Lab. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it.